I've literally heard 2-year-olds do this whole weepy thing. And they weren't just acting. I mean, they were really genuinely upset. They just didn't want to. Teenagers, I guarantee you, if you have teenagers, you've heard some version of this. And certainly more than one time, I imagine. And honestly, let's be truthful, you've probably done it your own self. Maybe not in quite as dramatic a fashion, but some version of it where you just don't wanna. And your heart is sore that day. And you just feel like crying your guts out, not doing whatever that thing is that you actually need to do. Yesterday, we talked about how moody we human beings can be. Some of those moods include real sorrow, real sadness, a real weepy day. And you know what? There are times it's not for anything. It isn't because our best friend died. It isn't because our dog ran away. It isn't because we heard bad news. We just feel like that. I'm not telling you it's easy to handle. It isn't even easy to handle when it's our own self. And it certainly isn't all that easy to handle when it's our child, whom we love and for whom we have great feeling in our heart. And they're really having a rough time. Now, I've seen parents get really angry about that. I'll tell you the truth. Sometimes with patients in the hospital, the kids just sad about being locked up and sad about missing their friends and sad about not being able to go to school. And I've seen parents get angry. And I get that, but I mean, then they get angry at the kid and kind of take it out on them. We sometimes have the most unusual responses to things, and not every response that we have is a healthy one. Let's be truthful. Sometimes when our kids are in a really bad mood, we get in a really bad mood with them. We kind of like drag along behind them. There are times when our mate, our spouse, is in a really terrible mood, especially if it lasts for a little while. I'm not talking about depression, which is a whole separate subject. I'm just talking a few days in a row of, oh, I have no idea what's wrong with me and I can't believe it. And women will definitely do that with hormone spikes. They'll do it in certain parts of pregnancy, they'll do it in certain parts of their monthly cycle. Teenage girls who aren't used to all that hormonal change, they definitely will go through this. There isn't anything wrong with it. That's what you have to get in your mind. It is just a regular human experience. Guys will say, oh, well, that never happens to me. I don't sit around and cry my eyes out. I want to make you a promise. I have been watching kids for well over 50 something years of my life very closely. Little boys do this as often as little girls. They might find out that big boys don't cry, and so they don't cry the tears, but the sorrow and the sadness and the deep down it's in there. It's still in there. They just express it differently because in some places with some persons or households and even cultures, it isn't safe to express it as the sorrow that it is. Why do people feel sad? What's that about? I guess I'd ask you the converse question. Why do people feel happy? What's that about? Right? Life has trouble. Life has frustrations. There are plenty of challenges. The way they hit our emotions on any given day is not just the same. And sometimes it brings us to real sorrow. We just feel sad about what we might not even know. There's an astounding verse in Scripture that says, God keeps our tears in a bottle. That tells me that our tears are valuable. I think it would be really helpful if we would learn to think like that. When someone we care about is really truly having a weepy day, we need to let them know those tears, they are really beautiful and valuable. That is an outward expression of what is really happening inside of your soul. As much as I love and appreciate the sound of your laughter. I can still love your tears. We learn in counseling that if someone starts crying and you hand them a box of Kleenex or you hand them a handful of Kleenex, it's like, cut it out. Just, knock it off. Be done with this. I think, in a sense, there's validity there. You have to know when enough is enough, really and truly. But also, I think that we in our culture are extremely uncomfortable with crying and with grief, with sorrow. And I think we need to learn to develop a better attitude. So, as parents, let me help you out today. If your child is having a weepy day, tell me, what do you want when you're having one of those days? Because often we want someone to hold us, enfold us in their arms, comfort us, be near to us, share this with us, express to us that it's going to be okay, and I really love you. Can you do it? I really hope that you can. I hope that you can look at your child, even in his or her worst possible state, and still love them, reassure them, comfort them, enfold them in your love so they can feel it. And not just teach them to stuff their emotions or deny their emotions or, heaven forbid, pretend like emotions don't even exist because they are inconvenient. Dads, let me talk to you a minute. If your wife is kind of a moody person and she has some of these weepy days, and you have a teenage daughter or two, you may be over all this crying stuff and you may just want to walk away. I want to invite you to look at this differently. It is a part of life and life's experiences. Do you really and truly want to share life with those whom you love, or do you want to split? See, I don't know the answer to this. You've got to work out this answer for yourself. But if you really do want to share life, this actually includes some tears, some sorrowful days, as well as the awesome, joyous, laugh, be crazy, enthusiastic ones. So, when you have a weepy day, what do you do? Again, I'm not really big on the whole wallow thing. It's appropriate to feel your emotions and even to express them, but you don't need to wallow. You don't need to be like, oh, you have no idea. You don't need to be doing the drama thing. You can cry the tears. You can express that you feel sad. You can state that you don't even know what you're sad about. All of that is perfectly okay and understandable. You can teach your children that all of that is okay. On the other hand, you don't get to lay in bed in your jammas and never take a shower and your hair looks like a rat's nest and do nothing, because life is still going on and you need to get up and need to get moving. And very often when you do start doing the regular routine things of your life, you feel a little bit better. Not every time though. It's really okay if you have a rough day because it's just one of those days. That's not a problem. But you need to help yourself and your children learn how to cope with, handle, and get through a weepy day. Because honestly, they do come to every single human being. It's very interesting. My one son is a poet, and he tends to write his sorrow out. That's a great way of expressing it. Doesn't always let people read what he writes. I actually understand that quite well. But that's one of his means of expressing it. You can go play. One son used to play tennis against the wall and just beat that thing against the wall, because often sadness, uh, especially if it's lodged in hurt, will grow into anger or even bitterness, and it's a good thing to get it out of your system. That was his way of handling it. There are lots of ways of doing it. One of the main things is self-care, learning to be good to yourself on those days. That is not self-indulgent, where you eat chocolate cake and butter pecan ice cream for breakfast, which I have a friend that used to do that rather often. And her justification was, well, I just feel bad and this is me taking care of myself. I was like, no, this is you killing yourself. So, no, really and truly, don't kid yourself about what self care looks like. But learn to honestly participate in self care. Eat well, surround yourself with people who love you and really are supportive of you. Again, mood can be so greatly enhanced or altered by music. Listen to music that helps you, and whether you can listen to some sad music, I don't really think that's a problem, whether that's sad music or joyful music when you're working on getting going again. Um, but take care of yourself on those weepy days and recognize it's just a part of life and it's okay. And let your children know that it's okay too. How do you do with those days? If you're not very good at it, I really want to invite you to get better. Acknowledge it's normal. Get support for those people who love you. Ask them to put their arms around and tell you it's going to be okay. It's been great having you with me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.